Hi, folks. Once again, this is impromptu and unscripted. Hi, everyone. My name is Larry Schaefer. I'm filming a series. It's called Pop, Teach Me the Meaning of Life. My grandchildren call me Pop, and I just feel compelled to make some recordings sometime at the right time in the right place. My grandchildren will be able to hear the messages of my heart for them. Maybe it'll be beneficial to some of you. Well, today I had the conviction to share about the prodigal son. And folks, there is hope for prodigals. And if you're a prodigal at whatever stage of being a prodigal you are, perhaps this message will speak to you. Like I said, it's kind of raw and it's unscripted. And I've got my Bible here in front of me and Luke 15, beginning in verse 11. This is one of the most amazing short stories that you could ever read. Absolutely amazing. There is an economy of words, concise, it's meaningful, it's powerful, it's emotional, an amazing short story. So Jesus said, a man had two sons, and the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the share of the estate that falls to me. I think in many ways, most of us have been at that point in our lives, young, impetuous, selfish, unable to see the big picture, consumed with our own wants and our own pleasures. And like I said, the economy of words is amazing. Father, give me. Usually you don't get your estate until after your father dies. And even for him, he's not the older brother. The older brother probably, at least the way it was in this culture, would have got the bulk of the inheritance. And that's why he just didn't want to waste any time. He was almost saying, Father, I wish you were dead because I really want what's coming to me. In current day's terms, maybe it's $50,000, maybe it's $100,000, maybe it's $1,000,000. It almost really doesn't matter. It's just that the younger son says to the father, give me. And if you're a parent, you've been there. Your kids will say, I want this, I want that. Or they'll use the trick, hey, mom, hey, dad, will you just say yes to what I'm going to ask you? Okay, I've never said that to you. It's kind of like that's where they're at. There doesn't seem to be any argument. There doesn't seem to be any pushback. The father divided his wealth between them. And here again, this is what a father may do from time to time, or probably should do from time to time, is to give them what they selfishly want so that they can learn from it, so that they can fail. It's hard as parents to know when to do that and when not to do that. But here again, this father decided to just give it to him. But in his heart, he knew what was going to happen. So he divided his wealth between them, the older brother and the younger brother. And I'm sure the younger brother got much less, but nevertheless, it was enough for him to go away. And not many days later, the younger son gathered together everything, went on a journey into a distant country. And when we want to break away and sin, we usually go to a place where certainly our parents won't see us or people that care about us won't see us. We usually want to get away to a place where no one knows us so that we can do what we want to do. It's kind of like going to Vegas. When you go to Vegas, you feel like you can be and act like someone that you're not. He gathered everything and he went to Vegas. And here again, the concise writing here says, there he squandered his estate with loose living. Now, I don't need to explain to you what loose living is. I think we all know. It's two words here in the Bible, but it's encapsulated in all the things that we know about. Indulging our flesh, indulging our lusts, indulging our pride, and just squandering it to feel good. You know, one dopamine shot after another, after another, after another. Now, what happened is he spent everything. And once that happened, God is at work in his life and brought a severe famine that occurred in that country, and he began to be impoverished. So he went from feeling like he was on top of the world, feeling great, into feeling extremely broke. Now, in my life, I didn't go through this extreme prodigal experience, but I do know what it's like to have plenty and to be wealthy, and I do know what it's like to be broke. My wife and I in our younger days used to say, give us this day our daily bread. And it was literal. we really needed food. So we know what that's like, and it's not good. It's a hopeless feeling. And he went from being on top of the world to being a complete, utter idiot and fool and squandering his wealth based upon his initial action of saying, Father, give me. So what did he do? He hired himself out to one of the citizens of that country. And as a hired hand, he went out into the field to feed the swine. So here again, a Jewish boy that was raised to consider pork to be unclean finds himself feeding the pigs. The way that God works sometimes. Has that ever happened to you? The irony of life can be devastating and amazing at the same time. So as he's feeding the swine, he would have gladly filled his stomach with the pods that the swine were eating, but no one was giving anything to him. I don't know what that means exactly, but he's feeding the swines. Couldn't he just stick something in his mouth? And for some reason, maybe there were other people watching him and he couldn't even do that. So he was starving to death, living among pigs in the mud, in the muck, in the mire. And verse 17 of Luke 15 says this: when he came to his senses. That's it. His father had hoped that this was happening, but God the Father, this was his plan the whole time. Are you a prodigal? Can you relate to that? Have you ever, in all of your loose living, the drugs, the alcohol, the sex, the whatever, has there ever been moments of epiphany where you came to your senses and you said, there's got to be more than this? This isn't the answer. He came to his senses. That is so powerful. He came to his senses, and for the first time, he's going to exercise some basic cognitive logic. God is so good the way that he does this. And he came to his senses and he said, how many of my father's hired men have more than enough bread, but I am dying here with hunger? You know what I'm going to do? I will get up and I will go to my father and will say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and in your sight. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Now, part of coming to his senses, the Bible is so powerful. He came to his senses, and there was something incredibly critical that he did. He realized that he has sinned against heaven, he sinned against God first, and he has sinned against his father. So he dealt with God and he dealt with his relationship with his father at the same time. I have sinned against heaven and I've sinned in your sight. And I am no longer worthy to be called your son. All of us, regardless of whether we live out a prodigal life or not, all of us need to come to the place to where we say, I have sinned against God and I have sinned against others. And he said, I'm going to go to my father and make me as one of your hired men. Well, he's learned his lesson from back when he said, Father, give me, perhaps with his head held high and his shoulders back, a proud, arrogant son, born into wealth, born into an estate where he was going to have a share of it and he wanted it. He went from that point down as low as he could humanly go. And he came to his senses and said, I would be happy just to be a hired man. So he got up and he came to his father. But while he was still a long way off, his father saw him and felt compassion for him and ran and embraced him and kissed him. There is so much in that one sentence about the father of the prodigal. Please don't miss this. So while the son was walking and he was still a long ways away, the father saw him. So what is a long ways away? 200 yards, 300 yards, 500 yards. I don't know. But it's a ways away, but the father can see him. Does that indicate that the father was looking out for him every day? I don't know. It's incidental. But the father saw him. And he felt something for him. Even though the son had basically said, Father, I wish you were dead so that I could just get your money. The father's love for him was still there. He had compassion for him. And then the next two words are this, and he ran. Three things: ran, embraced, and kissed. First of all, ran. If I've been told back at this time in the ancient time that a dignified man would not lift up his robe, expose his legs, and run. It was very, very undignified, especially a landowner, especially a man of wealth, a man of noble reputation in that village. He would not run. I think at that point he saw his son, and he didn't care what anyone else thought about. His eyes were focused on his son. My son has returned. My son has come back. My son is seeking redemption. He forgot everything else, and he ran toward his son. There's hope for prodigals because we have a heavenly Father that is reflected in these words. He is looking for you. He sees you in the distance. He knows how low you have gone. He knows what you have done. And yet, he sees you in the distance and he runs toward you. That's amazing. All the prodigal did was he came to his senses and he started to move towards the Father. And the Father ran towards him and embraced him. Can you imagine how bad he smelt from the sins of his life, from the loose living? Who knows how long it had been since he bathed? He embraced him, and not only did he embrace him, but he kissed him. So the Father felt compassion. He felt love. He felt joy. And the son said to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven, there it is again, and in your sight, and I am no longer worthy to be called your son. But the father said quickly, bring out the best robe and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand and sandals on his feet, and bring the fattened calf and kill it, and let us eat and celebrate. For this son of mine was dead, and he has come to life again. He was lost, and now he's been found. There's hope for prodigals. There's nothing you can do that can stop your Father in heaven from seeing you, from running towards you, from embracing you and kissing you. So right now, just say, I have sinned against heaven and I've sinned against the others in my life. Seek reconciliation from God and seek reconciliation from others. The others may reject you, but God won't, because he's running towards you, he's embracing you, and he's kissing you. Folks, thanks for listening. Thanks for indulging me to share my heart in this regard. And I'll see you in the next video.